One, two, one, two. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls around the world? How you doing? I hope you are blessed. Let me know if my sound is coming through okay. Let's just make sure before we jump into anything, make sure that the sound is good. That is always important. Naturally, it's got to be a priority. Let me know in the chat. Give me a thumbs up. Let me know if the sound is good, if you can see me okay, if you can hear me okay. And all of that, we should be doing all right here. It looks like it's set up here. It looks like it's set up to me. So just let me know. Holla, drop a comment, and let's see what's going on. Why is it saying that we have 0 live viewers? Why is it doing that? Maybe the count is broken. Okay. Okay, someone is saying sound is good. Sound is good. Okay. That's good. For some reason, it's saying that nobody is tuning in, but that's clearly not the case because I'm seeing people in the chat. So I don't know. Maybe there's some kind of issue going on with StreamYard. Anyway, what's up, homies? How you guys doing? I hope you are blessed, and I hope you are doing well on this very, very fine day. Today, we are going to make men great again. Make masculinity great again. Hey, I've still got guns. Look at that. Look, hey, yo, I haven't been in the gym for what, 14 weeks now? And my arms haven't fallen off. So that's good. I've still got some muscles. That is good. That is fantastic. How you guys doing? I hope you are blessed. I hope you are blessed and doing well. So today I want to talk about a tweet which I've got going viral, which is all about men, parents, you know, what do I say? Really, it's about fathers and it's about families. But I want to talk a little bit about masculinity in general. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a couple of shout outs. And oh, wow, we got a couple super chats already. Thank you very much, Chrissy. Chrissy sends $1.99. Much appreciated. I like that it's $1.99. And I see an immediate super chat coming through from Vanessa. Thank you very much, Vanessa. Vanessa sends $4.99. Much love. I appreciate it. Thank you. So what I'm going to do is open up the chat. If anyone wants to ask any questions, then if you want me to prioritize it, you can make a super chat and I will absolutely get to your question. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to open it like I normally do as people are continuing to come in and join. I am going to, you know what, let me just share this live stream on my platform again, just so people are aware that we are going live right now. I'm just gonna open this up and give it a share. So just bear with me for a moment. Bear with me for a moment. Let's get this going. Just gonna share this out there. Make sure that everybody who wants to join can join in. There we go. We got over 100 people tuned in. Thank you very much. Over 100 people tuned in. That is big. That is appreciated. I'm just going to share this out one more time. And then we will get to some of your questions. And so I'm going to get to your questions. Going live right now on YouTube. Tune in. Hashtag Team Zuby. All right, that should do the job. You guys could be anywhere in the world right now, but you're here with me right now, so I appreciate it. Definitely appreciate it. So what I'm going to talk about is, we're going to talk a little bit about masculinity. We're going to talk a little bit about family and all that good stuff. And we're also just going to talk a little bit about what's been going on in the world. I'm trying to get a little bit more energized, get more energized. Had a long day, a lot of interviews and stuff. But hopefully I can stay focused for about an hour. So let me just have a look at the questions and comments. If you have any questions for me, like I said, feel free to drop a comment in. If you want to leave a super chat, I will get to that ASAP. We've got another super chat right here from Yoki Tate. He has sent $5 and he said, this actually beings in the home with the father being involved or the uncles. I think maybe he meant this actually means being in the home. I'm guessing. Okay. Anyway, thank you for the super chat, man. Massively appreciated. It helps to support the channel, helps to support everything that I do. So it's much appreciated. So I'm gonna check out some of the questions you guys have got here. And someone wrote YouTube hates you. That's funny. I don't think YouTube hates me. I don't think I've yeah, I don't think I'm kind of on their radar as like a dangerous voice or anything like that yet. And I'm not a dangerous voice. I say that I say dangerous in sort of quotes there, as in, you know, the same way they call people like Jordan Peterson dangerous, not the fact that I'm some kind of radical, because obviously I am not. So someone commented muscle memory. Yes, thank you. Much love for muscle memory. It's a nice comment. Just says, love you, Zuby. Thank you very much. I love you too. I appreciate you guys so much, man. Honestly, I've got so much love for my fans, my supporters, everybody who tunes in and pays attention to what I do. So, okay, first question from Tio. Update from breaking the women's world record for lifting. Well, as far as I know, I don't believe that any women have defeated my deadlift record. So until they grow stronger, then I think I'm gonna keep that one. That's for me. Question from Mateo. Zuby, when are you gonna release a new album? I am looking to release a new album next year, 2021. That is going to happen. I'm planning to take a month off this year at some point, and maybe travel to some random country and stay in some random Airbnb or something and just like work on music. Just disappear off the grid, just work on music. But I'm hoping to get some new music out by 2021. Got a whole bunch of brand new beats, and I'm feeling creative. I'm feeling fired up. I've got a lot of stuff to say, so that is going to happen. All right, we've got a couple super chats have come through, so I'm going to just jump to those. Dorset Big Cats has sent £10. No comment, but thank you very much for that. Really appreciate it. And hey, my man Max, thank you, Max. Max sends £4.99. He wrote, Zuby, it's your boy Max here. Hope you're good. On the topic, making men great again, what are your opinions on three great men? MLK, JFK, and RFK. So that is Martin Luther King, John F. Kennedy, and is that Robert Kennedy, I presume? Yeah, I'm not. You know what? I'll be 100% honest and say I'm not a proper expert on any of these guys. Of course, I know Martin Luther King Jr. He's a great man, massive civil rights leader, fantastic speaker, quotes for days. The guy, you know, someone like him is kind of necessary right now. Like, people need to go back and listen to what he was saying at that time and understand what his message was and move away from the division that's been going on. In terms of JFK and RFK, I don't really know enough about them to speak on them or to have any sort of strong opinions. I know JFK is widely revered, but I don't sort of personally know enough about him to really give a clear answer on that one. And I don't like to talk about things that I don't know anything about. We've got another super chat here from Jim Steffel. Thank you very much. He sent $5. He wrote, important topic, thanks. And he's a single dad, so, you know, God bless you, man. Thank you for the super chat, and I'm sure that you are doing important, valuable work. We've just got another super chat here from Peyton Johnson, $5. He wrote, just getting back into fitness and wellness. Any advice? Love all you do, man. Keep inspiring. Yeah, my advice, look, I don't even want to be a shill, but my advice, honestly, if you're looking for general stuff, my advice is to get my book, Strong Advice, Zuby's Guide to Fitness for Everybody. I literally wrote that to help people out, and so that I don't need to answer the same questions tons and tons of times, because there's with general questions like that, it's hard to be specific, because look, the book covers mindset, motivation, nutrition, training. It covers all of the basics. So I recommend going to my website, teamzuby.com, or going to gumroad.com and checking out the book, Strong Advice, and it will help you. You can get it on ebook. You can also get it on audiobook as well. And thank you for the super chat, Peyton. I really appreciate that. I'm going to have a look at, see what other questions are going on here. I keep headbutting my microphone, but I like wearing my hat. And you got to have a little bit of Zuby branding on the live stream. Someone said they've shared this on Parlay. Thank you very much. People call it Parler, but it's actually Parlay. Like, if you, si tu parles français, tu sais, c'est parler. Ce n'est pas parler. Yeah, I haven't spoken French for a while, but peut-être que je peux enregistrer cette live stream en français. Pourquoi pas? Bonjour, je m'appelle Zuby. Je suis un rappeur indépendant et podcasteur et auteur. Et aujourd'hui, on fait live stream. Yeah, I can still speak stuff, but I like to teach myself languages, but I need to brush up on my French and my Spanish. That'll be some fun. Anyway, back to English so everybody can understand me. See a couple questions. Here's a question from Mary. What do you think of this cancel culture, i.e., Neil Buckley being sacked from the charity Manchurian Way in the UK? Is that the guy who was actually like helping a lot of inner city kids? Is that the one? If it is, then it's absolutely stupid. And in terms of cancel culture in general, I don't support it. Look, there are things that are so egregious that it's worth canceling somebody for. But if it's just for their like political opinions or not supporting an organization or something like that, then absolutely not. Cancel culture needs to be canceled. And I speak about that very vocally. I'm no fan of cancel culture. And also, as someone who believes in forgiveness, look, if someone really does step out of line, we need to allow people back into society. Like I said before, I don't like this idea of just ostracizing people permanently, coming after their livelihoods, coming after their family and stuff. Like that's deeply unforgiving, and it's not kind. It's really not a kind thing to do. Even if you don't like what someone's done or you don't like something that they said, the idea that you're going to try to destroy them utterly and permanently, that's messed up, man. That's really messed up. And yeah, deeply unchristian too. Let's see what other questions we got here. Zuby, what are your thoughts on Kanye running for president? Well, it'll be interesting if it actually happens. You know, with Kanye, I don't know if he's actually going to do it or if he's just going to say it for the publicity hype. But if he does, then like, do I think he's got a realistic chance at this stage? No, I don't. But hey, it's 2020. You can't put anything past 2020. If the aliens come tomorrow, I will not be shocked. If the dinosaurs come back next week, I will not be shocked. Like 2020 is a weird year. Absolutely anything can happen this year. Okay, I'm gonna get to a couple more questions, and then we're gonna go over this tweet that I wrote and why I wrote it. Someone said that I'm up late. No, I'm not up late. It's only 8:12 right now, 8:12 p.m. Not too late. What did you study at Oxford? I'm a computer science graduate. What's your opinion on Akala, the British rapper? I know Akala. I've met him several times. I've actually performed on the same bill as him twice. I've opened for him twice over the years. I like Akala. He's a nice guy. He's intelligent, and yeah, you know, we have different views on certain things, but he's very reasonable, and I think he puts his thoughts across in a good way. And whether or not I politically totally aligned with someone or not or whatever, I can respect anybody who actually firstly uses facts and not just runs on emotions and nonsense, and who's willing to listen and have a more holistic view on stuff, right? We all have our leanings, we have our biases, and that's totally natural. But yeah, Akali's a brilliant rapper as well. As an actual artist, he's a fantastic rapper. So yeah, I like Akala. I'm a fan of Akala. Oh, interesting. Someone's written, you should invite Lecrae, D1, and the amazing Lucas to your podcast. That's a good shout. I would be happy to have all three of them. I know who they all are, and yeah, I will try to get them on. Let's see what other questions we got here. Okay, some of these questions are talking about masculinity a little bit. So, oh, someone sent a super sticker. Drain the Swamp. Good username. Drain the Swamp sends $2.99. Thank you very much. It is appreciated. So yeah, I'm seeing some. Oh, we've got another super chat here. So I take it you will be back in America in 2021 since the U.S. follows you, maybe for music or speaking. She. Yeah, well, I'm hoping to be back in the U.S. this year if they open it up again. There's still the travel ban in place. So I was actually supposed to be in the States in May. I was supposed to be there in June. I was supposed to be there again in July. But all three trips have been postponed because this coronavirus situation, man. It's thrown a big spanner in the works. And until that clears up and the travel bans are lifted, I am stuck here in the UK for the most part. All right. We got a super chat from Nadaverse, $9.99. Thank you so much. Being Eastern Orthodox and a staunch supporter of the patriarchy myself, I would like to hear your thoughts about why this attack on men has become so welcomed by so many in society today. Wow, that's a big question, Nada. And thank you for the super chat, firstly. But that's a good question. So let's go into it. Let's go into it. Let's talk about masculinity. And firstly, let me start by addressing the tweet that I actually wrote. So as I do this, I tweeted this only 4 hours ago, and it's got 6.8 thousand retweets, 981 comments, and 25,400 likes. So I think we can classify this as viral. And what I wrote is, absent fathers and broken family units are the root cause of virtually all social problems in the modern world. It's obvious too, but nobody wants to admit it because it upsets people. Now, I really believe this. I didn't tweet this out there to, polarize people or just to create conversation or something, but I think that's very, very real. If you think of the big social issues that we have at hand, and you think, so whether you're talking about crime and incarceration and stuff to do with the justice system, whether you're talking about homelessness, whether you're talking about teenage pregnancy, whether you're talking about people failing in schools, aspects of poverty, lots of different social ills. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that we could get into here. But if you really think about it, so much of it really, if you're going to trace it back to a root cause, I think a lot of it stems from fatherlessness and broken homes. Even a lot of the emotional incontinence that we're seeing now, the inability for people to, kind of think this idea of emotions being everything, and people not willing to be rational, people being very like, you all will know the term snowflake, right? This idea that people can't handle opinions that are different from theirs, people wanting to be coddled, people wanting to be in safe spaces, being protected from ideas they don't like and people they disagree with. So many of these things, to me, are rooted in the family structure, and very specifically absence of fathers. Now, obviously, father absence is much more common because, as males, for biological reasons, the ability for a male to reproduce and bounce in any species, to put it simply, is possible, whereas females have the burden of pregnancy and childbirth and nursing, etc. Right? That's just biology. This is not even unique to human beings. So one of the reasons why traditional societies are structured the way they are is to keep that unit together, right? To disincentivize men, and also to disincentivize women from being super reckless and just having kids and not having any family unit, no marriage, no father to raise the child, etc. It causes, look, there have been so many studies done on this. If you really want to know, if you really want to go into detail on this subject, I'd recommend a book called The Boy Crisis, which is a fantastic book. And it really goes into some of the ill effects of not having fathers around. So off the top of my head, I think some of the stats are like, I think people are 10 times more, is it 10 times more likely to end up in prison? I think 3 or 4 times more likely to experience poverty. Much more likely to, I think it quadruples the rate of teenage pregnancy for daughters, for young women, drug addiction, depression, anxiety, so many things. The rate of these just goes up so massively if the father is not present. And then further along, just with the family unit in general, if people don't have that sort of basis and that anchor to go back to and to rely on, then look, nothing can ever fill that in perfectly. Friends cannot fill that in perfectly. Absolutely, the government cannot, because the government can't do everything. The government's good at doing a small number of things. It's good at, protecting the borders to some degree, even though that's debatable. Police, justice systems, fire departments, public highways, things like that. But when it comes to these social issues, when it comes to morality, when it comes to raising a child, Right. It's not an accident that it takes a man and a woman to have a baby because they're both supposed to be there. Now, I understand that some people are in unfortunate circumstances and all kinds of things can happen, right? That make this not possible in certain situations, right? So I'm not trying to put down anybody, especially if it's, not out of their control for being in certain situations. But the idea that we shouldn't even have that standard that we sort of aspire to is crazy to me. And I think it's crazy that in all of these conversations that we have, it's very rare and it's quite unpopular to bring up this idea of broken families and absent fathers, despite the fact that we have the data on it, we know the stats, and it's really a big problem, especially in the modern Western world. For all the greatness that we've achieved, that's something that we've really moved backwards on as a society. So, massive shout out to everybody out there who's doing their jobs, all the men, all the women, doing the best they can. If you have kids, raising your kids and all that, you're doing an amazing work, and you probably feel like you don't get enough thanks for it. But I salute you, and for what it means, you absolutely have my respect. But answering Nada's question here, why has it become welcomed by so many? I think it's because of brainwashing, really. I think that there's just a lot of brainwashing that's been happening over the past couple of decades where we've been sold this lie that men are sort of unnecessary, right? Some of it is rooted in some aspects of, I guess, second and third wave feminism. The idea, the whole a woman needs a man like a fish needs a bicycle. It's made worse. It's exacerbated by things like no fault divorce, loss of religion, changing societal and cultural moral standards, people wanting to be politically correct. All of these kind of things, they do lead into it. You've also got in some places certain welfare policies which essentially incentivizes single motherhood and absent fathers and all of that. And it's like, look, we've been running this experiment for several decades, and it seems very clear at this point that the results are not good. So, yeah, I think we need to make men great again. We need to make women great again, and we need to make the family great again. I am all for that. I see we've got another couple super chats that have come on. Thank you once again, Nada. Really generous of you. We've got a $20 super chat from Sandra. Thank you so much, Sandra. It just says, Amen, Zuby. Perfect tweet. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Got another super chat here. This one is from Tracy. This is a $10 super chat. It says, hello from Florida, Zuby. This redhead loves real men. Keep talking. I like what I hear. Thank you so much, Tracy. I appreciate that. Thank you. And we've also got another super chat here from Island XRP. Sends $9.99. Says, thanks for all you do. Much love from the US. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate the support, guys. If you want to super chat, then you are welcome to. There's no obligation, never any obligation. But if you want to support the channel, you want to help me grow, reach more people, you just want to say thanks for what I do, then it is always, always appreciated. So yeah, coming back to it. So just talking a little bit about, it's sort of two subjects. Masculinity is definitely one of them. It seems that, yeah, I think a lot of young boys and young men in the modern Western world are in a bit of a confusing position for a lot of reasons. And I think one of them is that there are lots of them. I think number one is sort of the aftershock effects of some aspects of feminism, right? So if you were to go back not so long ago, and even if you look at other cultures and societies and countries which are developing, then the role of males and men in society is pretty clear cut, right? In terms of provision, protection, it's pretty clear. And I think one of the, I guess, inevitable sort of side effects of some, I guess you could really call it the feminist movement and women's liberation. I'm for women's liberation, needless to say. But I think one of the inadvertent effects of it is that it's changed the dynamic in a way that society hasn't really adjusted yet. So now that most women are working and, they earn their own money and they're independent, etc., then that traditional role for a male, that sort of pathway as being a provider and a protector, it still exists, and women still absolutely value that and generally crave that, even if they don't like to admit it. It's no longer clear cut for males in society that that is like the best way to go. You see what I mean? So, whereas all throughout history, for centuries and centuries, there was a natural, both a natural desire and a natural incentive for that, that has now been sort of lost in many modern societies. So it's left, I think, like an entire generation, like millions and millions of men, kind of like, what's my role here? What's my purpose here? Right. And then the messaging is very mixed as well. So if you look at the messages that men get from society, they're very conflicting and confusing, right? So on one hand, you're supposed to be the sort of solid, stable rock, but on the other hand, they're saying that you need to be vulnerable and show emotion and be a bit more feminine. On one hand, people are saying man up and be more masculine. On the other hand, people are saying that masculinity itself is toxic and that, women don't need that and women don't like that and society doesn't like that and it causes all of these problems. On one hand, men are, people are saying, I don't know, that it's like every message is just confusing, right? Every message is just confusing. So I'd imagine that if you're like a 15-year-old boy right now, or maybe even a 20-year-old guy right now, you might just kind of be like, what's my purpose here, right? What's my role? And you've got people even the idea of marriage and children. It's like that's something that I aspire to in the future. I'm not there just yet, but I've spoken to a lot of young men and even a lot of guys my age. It just seems like the game's a little bit rigged. You know what I mean? Like that's just the reality of it. That's sort of the red pill truth of it. Is people are, and keep in mind, in my generation, not myself, thank God, but so many people are coming from broken families and have divorced parents and all that. So they've seen this. They've seen it happen with their friends. They've seen it happen with other people, and it's easy to understand why those people would be a bit like, man, especially men, right? And they've seen people get divorced. You've seen these famous men get their incomes, not their incomes, get their wealth like chopped in half. They have a divorce and they have to pay out like millions and millions of dollars and all this. And it's not hard to understand why a young man would look at that and be like, you know what? I don't really know if I'm up for all of that. And as a result, it means that a lot of men don't really grow up. It's like growing up is delayed, right? It's delayed because it's kind of like, well, the incentives are all messed up, right? The incentives are messed up, and at the same time, you're getting a lot of women saying, yeah, I don't need no man. I'm independent. This, that, and that's what society sort of promotes and puts out there. But then at the same time, they want to berate men for not stepping up to the plate. Does that kind of make sense? So the whole thing's just kind of messed up and kind of confusing. And I think some of it is intentional and some of it is probably just by accident as a result of things which are generally good, such as increased gender equality. But it's very much a double-edged sword. I think in society, to be politically correct, we like to pretend that everything is only upside. But the truth is that there are consequences to everything. So if you change this piece of the puzzle over here, then, 10 years down the line, 20 years down the line, 30 years down the line, that is going to have some kind of impact. And we need to bear that in mind at all times. I've seen a whole bunch of super chats have just come through. So thank you, Jay Taylor. He sent £5. No message, but that's appreciated. We got one here from Glorious Assam, sent £10. I've sent you a message on Twitter, hoping for your criticism of my argument. It's on racial profiling. I disagree that police are disproportionately racist. Good people mixed in with the bad. Thank you. Okay, I'll have a look at that. I haven't read the tweet, but or the message even. But thank you very much for the super chat. Very generous of you. I appreciate it. Got one here from, how do I say that? Oinomouse? Enomouse? £4.99. Thank you so much. It says, love your work. Keep on going, brother. Keep on keeping on, brother. I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. Another one, $4.99 from Rory Hubbard. What do you think is the most effective route to make men great again? Wow. That's a tough one. This is a tough one. I mean, look, I think this idea came from the book The Way of Men by Jack Donovan. And I'm trying to remember this. I read the book a few years ago, but what he suggests is that what makes a man like a great man or a good man is how did he put it? I think it was courage, mastery, and oh gosh, what was the third one? It's courage, mastery. Is it strength, courage, and mastery? I think. And so maybe that's a good sort of template on what men can do to sort of reclaim their masculinity. And I think part of it is just, firstly, I think there it needs to be tackled on two sides, right? So I think this attack on men and masculinity firstly needs to end. Thank you, Terry, for the super sticker. And I think that men also need. I think men need to be encouraged, right? So I think, like when people talk about this idea of so-called toxic masculinity, I think that what that is in most cases sort of roots back to what I was saying at the beginning about fathers. I think really it's about, I think toxic masculinity is the result of absence of masculinity, right? If you have masculine presence and role models in society and in families and in communities at every level, then boys grow up to be healthy men in general. If those role models are not present, if that masculine presence is not there, then boys, especially from the ages, say between like 12 and 20, they will seek that out somewhere else, right? So that's why gang members tend to recruit young boys, especially ones who don't have father figures. They worked this out decades ago. They've known this worldwide because they know that those people are vulnerable and they know that they are looking for some kind of family, community, masculine role models, etc. So if that happens to be the local gangbangers, the local drug dealers, the local hoodlums, then they might find that even in some of these people. If you look at stories of people who join like legitimate hate groups and stuff like that, it's often these angry young men who do not have a strong father figure in their life, and they're looking for those masculine role models and that sense of family and community somewhere, and they're getting it from a really bad place, and then they get sort of led into these different ideologies. It might even be the same thing with a lot of like terrorist types, right? There's the ideology, but the thing that makes them vulnerable in the first part is the absence of masculinity. And then even with people who aren't going that far, but just with boys and men who act out and behave in certain ways, commit certain crimes and things like that. So often it is rooted in absence of masculinity. So it's like absence of masculinity creates this thing that people call so-called toxic masculinity, which is not a term I'm even a fan of, because I don't think that I believe some behaviors are toxic, right? A behavior can be toxic, maybe a person can be toxic, but masculinity itself is not toxic, and I don't like those words being linked together per se. But yeah, it's a real problem, and it's not maybe people don't want to talk about it because it's not an easy one. It's not an easy one to solve, right? It's not something that people are always looking for political solutions to everything, and the truth is that not all problems are political. So if you have a problem that is spiritual or moral or societal, sometimes the government can help a little bit in some aspects, but it really comes down to all of us, right? It comes down to us as individuals, as families, as communities, locally, nationally, etc., to sort of determine what we want our story to be, right? What do we want our story to be? What is it that we want to pass on to that next generation? I don't have kids yet, but I've got 9 nieces and nephews. What values, what morals, what aspects of culture and everything do you want to be instilled in them? Think of all the young people like 20 years younger than you. If you're older than that, maybe people even 30 years younger than you, 40 years younger than you. I don't know how old everyone listening is, but what are the values? What are the beliefs? What are the morals? What are the standards that you want them to go forward with for them to be successful? I think that's what we really need to think about, because we can't just legislate this, man. Just like you can't totally legislate morality, you can to a degree, but we know that it's a lot deeper than that, because if you're living in a free country with liberty, then we all have choices, and a lot of stuff is legal, but that doesn't mean it's good, right? Just because something is legal doesn't mean it's good. And perhaps on the flip side, perhaps the fact, perhaps there are some things that are not bad but are illegal. Hard to think off the top of my head, but yeah, that's just the reality of it. I see a couple super chats have popped up again. So shout out to Jay Taylor. He sent £2, and Oh wow, another super chat from Nada. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Nada. Much love. Nada wrote, she sent $9.99 and she wrote, victims. If a woman, if a woman's or girl's value can only be recognized by devaluing a man or a boy, then I don't want any part in it. Toxic femininity is the tool of pathetic women being led by evil men. Ooh, spicy, spicy. If you're on Twitter, I need to follow you on Twitter because these are some takes. But you're correct. You're correct. I mean, look, I've said this before. To lift up one group, this is what I'm about to say here is really important. This might be the most important point I make today. So it's important to get this. To lift up one group, you do not need to bring down or denigrate another group, right? Let me repeat that. To lift up one group, it is not necessary to demean, diminish, or pull down another group. You can bring up females without pulling down males. You can lift up males without pulling down females. You can lift up one ethnicity group without pulling down another. And this runs in all directions. And I don't know why modern Western society seems so obsessed with this idea that you have to destroy the other to raise another one. It's like this weird sort of binary thinking. Right now, you've got a lot of people who want to, in the light of this whole Black Lives Matter stuff that's going on right now, people want to uplift black people. But there are some people who are part of that who think that to uplift black people, you need to pull down white people, right? We need to dismantle, we need to destabilize, we need to attack the other. And this is wrong. Just like in the past, to lift up white people, you don't need to demean or denigrate black or brown people, etc. Like we've learned this. We know this, right? We've seen this play out many times, historically, globally. We've seen what happens when people think that to uplift one group, you need to pull down another, and it's nasty, right? It's not good. In the worst cases, it leads to the worst atrocities known to man. So I'm just like, let's not play that game, right? Let's not play that game. We can uplift women, we can uplift girls, we can uplift boys, we can uplift men, and society needs these two things anyway, right? How did we all get here? We are all the result of a man and a woman, hopefully loving each other, but certainly loving each other to some degree, lusting each other to some degree. That's literally how we all got here. So if we want to continue as a species, quite literally, we need men and women to get on with each other. We want to create a society that creates eligible, masculine, strong, virtuous, moral, healthy, upstanding men and women who are the same and who hopefully don't hate each other, right? Whenever you see someone trying to sow division between groups, you should be suspicious of that person, right? If you're seeing someone who wants to just attack men all the time, you should be very suspicious of that person. If you see someone who wants to attack and tear down girls and women all of the time, you should, not even just all of the time, some of the time. We don't need to do that at all, right? Why would you want to just pull down an entire group of people? If you do that, I don't think your motives are good. Or if you think they are, they're certainly misguided at best. Because as I just said, you can uplift a group without tearing down other ones. And we're all individuals, right? So 50% of the people on Earth are male, 50% are female. I don't know how many genders there are these days, but this is what science has told me. This is what it's always been. So I'm going to stick with that. And so when you attack men, if you attack males in general, you're attacking what? 3.7 billion people. If you're attacking females in general, you're attacking 3.7 billion people. Does that even make sense? No, it's crazy, right? You can't just say like all men are this, all women are that. It doesn't make sense, man. It doesn't even make sense. And you are reducing individuals to some weird sort of like group avatar that's not even real. You know what I mean? Right? Like we're all individuals. You might, I'm one straight black male, but that doesn't mean that I have that much in common with the next straight black male that you may see, right? Like that you're just seeing a very surface level of the totality of my being. And it's so weird how, I understand it because we're very visual creatures, but it's so funny how people sort of categorize by these sort of very basic superficial level features, because if you could go sort of like not even 1 centimeter below, you'll realize like, oh, you wouldn't even be able to tell where I'm from, right? You can still tell I'm male because of the physique, but in terms of me being like black, it all goes away, right? It's literally pretty much surface level. It's very surface level stuff. So that's why concepts like racism itself are really stupid, right? But it's also why like the obsession and the racialization of everything is also really stupid, because it's like, what's in there, right? What's in the brain? What's in the heart? Like all that stuff is so much more interesting. And I know my fans get this. I know my audience gets this already. But it's just important because I don't know, people just lose the plot, especially when it becomes collective and there's like all of this stuff just going on. People yeah, I don't know, people obsess over very strange things. People obsess over very strange things. Like, I'm someone who legitimately judges people based on the content of their character, right? Like, do I like you? Do we get on? Are you interesting? Are you kind? Are you just a decent person? Awesome. Like, we can rock. I don't The rest of the stuff is like, it's just details. It's the least interesting stuff about you. I've got a super chat here from TK. He has sent £5. Thank you very much, man. He wrote, love what you do, Zuby. I've noticed an increase in victimhood amongst men in recent years. Do you think this will increase or decrease in the future? Thanks for the super chats, TK. It's a hard question, man. I think it really depends on what we do. And this is why I'm only one person, but we're all drops in the ocean. So it depends on where we go. A lot of stuff in society depends on where we go and what we do. Like I said, things are somewhat generational. So how are we going to raise that next generation of boys and men and girls and women? What are we going to be teaching them? Are we going to be telling them that, being male is a horrible thing, and that you're a patriarch, and that your masculinity is toxic, and that, you're a potential criminal, and all of these things? Is that really what we want to teach our sons and our nephews and our younger brothers and all that? No, I don't think that's a good message. And I don't think that's what we want to teach them. I think, again, we want to teach them that, look, you have inherent value. You are capable of greatness. You have potential. We need to be encouraging people. We need to be teaching people new things, right? Schools, in the households, whether it's manual things or, it's part of why I like going to the gym, right? It's just go, lift weights, get stronger, improve your health, improve your physique, physically, mentally, everything, read books, educate, I despise the term educate yourself because so many people use it incorrectly. But yeah, teach yourself new things, be constantly learning. I think that's really how you become a great man. And then also balancing that with a good level of virtue and morality, right? Because I think men are always creating or destroying, right? That's the reality. If you look at from little boys all the way up to grown men, men are normally creating or we're destroying. And so we need to make sure we build a generation of men who are wanting to create, right? Create with their hands, create families, create ideas, bring visions to life, all of that. That's what moves society forward, right? Inventors, creators, not people who just want to destroy and tear down. And there's a lot of destruction and tearing down that's going on right now, man. And, tearing down stuff is easy. Tearing down people is easy. Tearing down statues is easy. Ripping up art is easy. Destroying a building is easy. You know what's hard? Making a building, making art, creating a statue, creating a family. All of that stuff is hard. It's always easier to destroy than it is to build. Unless you're talking about body fat. One exception. Okay, we got another one here. Youngblood has sent €5 on the super chat. Thank you, man. Hi, Zuby. It's your boy Youngblood from Spain. You know that when boys grow up with a father, when boys grow up without a father are more likely to go to prison or drop out of school. Yes, by multiple times. I think 10 to 20 times more likely to end up in prison, and multiple times more likely to drop out of school. It's a real problem. It's a real problem, and that's why I want to address it head on, just to sort of bring that into the conversation. Thank you for the super chat. We got another one here from Bud CBD UK. He sent £10. Zuby, great work. You're really inspiring. I would love to get Miss Snuffy slash Catherine Burblesing's take on this topic. She was a great podcast guest. Thank you. Yeah, I really enjoyed my podcast with her. Catherine Burblesing is awesome. She's the headmistress of the Michaela School in London. Awesome woman. Check out the podcast I did with her. And yeah, thank you for the super chat. It's appreciated. We got another one here. Hey Zuby, what's your take regarding the red pill slash manosphere? Are you a believer? Could it be the cure for the snowflake generation? Thanks. Yeah, I think it's important to the red pill and manosphere. This is like a secret club. Yeah, look, it's important to be red pilled to a degree. It's also important not to ingest the entire amount of pills, because then that's when you become black pilled, right? And you end up overcorrecting and becoming someone who doesn't see the point of any of it, right? So just like you kind of get the people who are end up being very venomous towards women, or the people who are more what they call MGTOWs, men going their own way, who have just sort of totally stepped away from even the potential of relationships with females. I don't think that's healthy. And again, I think that's sort of like abdicating male responsibility. It's just saying, you know what, the whole thing is so screwed up. I'm not even gonna play. I'm not even gonna participate. And I can understand why people feel that way and why they take that road. But I don't think that's the way forward. At the same time, you don't want to be a guy who's just like a chump, right? And who has no idea of what women are attracted to and certain aspects of, intergender dynamics and stuff like that. You want to be woke to that degree in terms of the red pill, but don't obsess. Yeah, take a few red pills, take half of them, but don't take every single one, or you will end up in a dark place. You will overdose, and you won't really even be able to enjoy life because you'll just become too cynical, and you'll miss out on opportunities because you're just too cynical and too pessimistic and too negative. So that's my thought there. Got another $10 super chat here from Mac Jr. Thank you so much. I think it's easy to fall into the trap of hating on a demographic when you see someone hating on your demographic. But too few people nowadays are being the bigger person. Vicious cycle. That's very true. It's very true. It's why I'm truly an equalist, right? It's why I don't like it when I see people saying things like, oh, men are trash, or all white people are X, right? All white people are racist, or this or that, right? I'm not a fan of that. I'm not a fan of this in any direction. I have a very basic rule, which is that if you could change the demographic, if you could swap out the demographic and you could change the word white people for like black people or Jews or Asian people or Arabs or whatever, if you can do that and it sounds horrible, then it's a horrible statement. Okay? Simple. So I don't buy this idea that it's okay to do it in one way, right? If you're going to go and put a hashtag saying, like, a couple years ago, I remember on Twitter seeing a hashtag trending saying kill all men, right? Hashtag kill all men. And it's like, look, if you had a hashtag saying like kill all, like, come on, what's that going to look like, man? It's not cool. It's not cool in any direction, right? It's not cool to just collectivize people and to ascribe guilt or to ascribe hatred or to threaten people or anything like that. It's not cool. Just my rules of engagement are very simple, right? Just be decent, be kind, be fair, treat people equally, truly, right? Not special treatment for this one and worse treatment for that one, all that kind of stuff. And I think what Mac mentioned in his comment here is, yeah, it's correct. It is easy for people to fall into this this trap of hating on demographics if they feel like that's happening to them, because we're naturally defensive. Right? Human beings are naturally defensive. And when we feel fear, when we collectivize even more because we don't like to be alone. So if someone comes and is attacking me, right, then the natural inclination is for me to gather with people who share that trait that they're attacking and to want to defend, right? So I think we all need to be the bigger man, right? We need to be the bigger person in this regard. And sometimes the best way to avoid these games is simply not to play. Just don't even play sometimes. If you're seeing someone really trying to bait you into some of these conversations or down some of these arguments and stuff, just sometimes it's good to know when just to not engage. You don't have to engage with absolutely everything. We've got another super chat here. Thank you so much. This is from the Unapologetic Apologists. $10. Hey, brother. Would love to have you on my show if you're interested. I introduce my viewers to your music in a video on my channel. Hope that's cool. Thanks for all you do. God bless. Thanks very much, man. I appreciate it. I'm yeah, I mean, drop me a message, man. You can email me, Zuby at zubymusic.com, and I'll see if I can fit it into my schedule. I've been doing so many podcasts and stuff over the past couple months that I need to sort of chill on most of them for a while, just so I've got time to recover and do some other stuff because I've got other things that I need to do. But yeah, definitely drop me an email, man, and I'll see what I can do. Thank you for the super chat. Got one here from Philippa Lakidi, £10. Thank you so much. Do you have any ideas on how fathers can demand equal rights in family court? We are protesting on 8th of August at Downing Street at 12 p.m. Support the movement. Put IG, add IG, put kids first, and jcruise.fit. So anyone's reading that, you can find out more about that right there. How fathers can demand equal rights in family court. Wow. Well, I think the first thing is to talk about it. I am no expert on what the laws currently are. So again, in terms of respecting, not speaking on things I don't know a lot about. Like I know certainly that women generally get custody. I don't know what all the ins and outs of that are. And I don't really know. I don't know what the laws are. So I think it needs to be determined if the laws need to change or maybe just the application and the way that the laws are used perhaps needs to change. But I think the first step to solving any problem is to bring it to light and to talk about it, right? Bring it to light and talk about it. And that's literally the first step. So what you're doing there sounds good to me. So, yeah, and I'm sure you'll find a lot of allies in that regard. You'll find people who know a lot more about it than I do. And I'd suggest reaching out to those people and seeing how best you can put forward a united front in that regard. Nada. This is the third super chat of the. It's the third super chat. Thank you so much. We are both insignificant and incredibly important at the same time. It is the reality and the beautiful paradox of our existence. By the way, I'm not that active on Twitter, but I'm considering remedying that. Yeah, you should. You've got some interesting takes. I think you should add your voice to the conversation. But thank you so much for the super chats and support. I genuinely appreciate that. We got another one right here. This is from Ariana McCann. She sent $4.99. Thank you for being an honest and powerful voice for good. You're welcome, Ariana. And thank you for the super chat. And thank you for supporting me. I appreciate it. So I've got, I'm going to run for about 10 more minutes. What I will do is I'm going to scroll up a little bit and I'm going to try to get to some of the questions that, if I see some interesting questions that I didn't get a chance to answer, I will check those out. If anyone wants to make sure I get to their question, then please drop a super chat and I will absolutely get to it. As I say that, Mac JR has just dropped one. $10. Thank you so much again. Evil and goodness is expressed differently through people's different demographics / culture. There's evil and good in every single group based on the individual, but it expresses itself differently. Maybe it does. I'm not sure it's really expressed differently based on demographics and culture. I think that it's just different based on the individual. I'm not really sure that there's much of a cultural or demographic link there. I just think, yeah, good and we all have good and evil within us, and yeah, everybody is different, so that's going to manifest in totally different ways. If yeah, but it's it's an interesting point, but yeah, thank you again for the super chat. It's appreciated, man. So let me just scroll up a little bit and I'll see what questions we've got here, see if I can answer a couple of them quickly. Let's see what we got there. Mark wrote, "My dad abandoned me and my brother. A good step is do not do that." I'm sorry to hear that, man. That sucks, Like I don't know you, but that sucks. But I hope, you and your brother know you've hopefully can take that and not to do that in the future. I don't know if you've got your own family yet or if you plan to, but sometimes it's best to learn what to do from people who are supposed to be your role models, but sometimes it can also be valuable to learn what not to do. So if you're someone who does come from a situation with maybe with an absent parent or not the most stable of households, then hopefully in the future when you go and create your own, you know exactly what you want to avoid and you know what you want to create, and you can make sure that your children don't have to go through that same negativity and that they're in a better position. So I think that's a good way to sort of shift something negative into something that's a lot more positive. And a lot of people do that. So again, God bless to everybody who has done that. A shout out to all the parents. I've already said it. I'm just scrolling through here quickly, trying to see if there's any. A lot of these are just comments. I appreciate all the comments, but let me just see what is happening here. I see another super chat has come through, so let me jump to that. This is from, is that Raven or Reven Sheridan? $5. Cheers, Zuby. Found you through music collab with Tech9. Glad to see you are also in the culture war too. Thank you. I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. I say man. I don't know if it's a man or not, but I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Let's see what we got here. Someone wrote, I've seen just as many immature and or egotistical women as men. This is a societal problem, not a male one. I agree, but I'd be interested to know what the male influences on those women are, right? How many of those women who you're calling immature and egotistical, did they have strong male role models and strong female role models too? I think in many cases they probably didn't. So my thing here is not to try to put everything on men, of course not. But look, men have a certain role to provide in society, and men and women, boys and girls suffer when that doesn't happen, and it manifests in different ways in men and women. But it's very important either way. Got another super chat here. This is again from Youngblood, €5. Hi Zuby, it's your boy Youngblood again. What do you think about a picture that was on Twitter of men wearing a t-shirt that says the future is female? It's just dumb. These guys are just lame. Honestly, a lot of these dudes are just trying to get laid by seeing how long they can agree with women. And it's like a very beta gamma male mating tactic, if you want the red pill truth on that. It's just lame. The future is not female. The future is male and female. Simple. It has to be. It really has to be. And like I said, would you wear a t-shirt that says the future is male? No, you probably wouldn't. You'd look like a bit of a douchebag. So let that run in both directions. Like the future is not female. The future is both, right? The future is human. And we need males and we need females. I'm not interested in creating animosity and division between any groups, let alone men and women. It's not healthy for society. Wow. Okay. Let's see what else we got here. Just a lot of really positive, nice messages. A lot of really nice messages here. So thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm just making sure I haven't sort of missed anything really important. What I would say is, so thank you firstly for everyone who dropped a super chat, especially massive thank you for it. If you guys want to help to support my music and my channel and my podcast in general, I'm gonna put the link to it here. I've got my Patreon going now, which is patreon.com/Zuby Music. As I said, I'm going to be putting out a lot of new music this year. I'm going to be putting out my weekly podcasts. I'm hopefully going to be doing more live shows and just continuing to grow. So if you wanted to communicate with me more directly by joining at the $5 or $10 level, you get access to the Team Zuby Inner Circle, which is a Discord chat where I'm going to respond to stuff a lot quicker than I can on Twitter and Instagram and all that. I've got way too many followers on those things to keep up with it all. But if you enjoy the content and you want to support me on an ongoing monthly basis, and you also want to be part of that community and get other special perks, then please go to patreon.com/Zuby Music and you can support me. I will be back. I'm going to plan to keep doing these at this time every Monday, 8 p.m. BST, 3 p.m. Eastern time. Going to be doing the live streams. I'm really enjoying them. This is just the third one, and it's just been going and it's been growing, and I appreciate having hundreds of you guys tuning in. What else can I say? Let's make men great again. Let's make women great again. Let's make the family great again. Let's make society great again. And let's just work together to heal the division, reduce some of this polarization, because there's more to life than just politics. And just be good citizens and get on with one another. Once again, if you want to support me, patreon.com/Zuby Music. I'll have a new podcast coming out this Friday. and I'll be doing another live stream next Monday. So thank you guys very much. Massively appreciate you. And thank you. God bless.